There's no police, there's no private security. I write about, you know, old buildings and ruins of Beirut, and I have to sneak in usually. It's like a heart-pounding experience just to get into these places, but now it's just like a free-for-all. We're here in downtown Beirut and Martyrs Square, which is a very busy area, and this is the protest, ground zero. This is the tent city of the protest. We're gonna go check out some of the sites today. We're at the Plus Towers, one of the new developments here in downtown Beirut. Downtown Beirut is full of these very fancy towers that nobody can afford. These apartments go for millions of dollars. And one of the big problems people have in this country is economic. They don't have money, and all the money goes to fancy projects that nobody can afford. So there's a big question mark on who's making money from these projects. So let's go check out some of the vandalism actually of some of these projects. It's kind of the rage against these projects. As you can see, they're selling the flags everywhere. That's one of the main tools of revolution is a flag. Flag and a phone. Kind of shocking to see this kind of thing happen in Lebanon. We usually don't have this kind of vandalism, but people have to be really angry, and you can see the anarchy signs here. This is the kind of destruction that we saw at the beginning of the Civil War in Lebanon. It's very small scale, obviously nothing compared to that, but it just reminds you of it. It reminds you of burned out buildings and things that were new and nice at the time, but not nice for everybody. So it was very misleading situation to tourists that come here and think everything is nice, but when local people can't afford that, then it's a problem. Over here we have some tents that are being used for daily evening discussions. And right here we have the famous Hang. This building was one of the first shopping malls to open in Beirut, and it had a really big cinema. It was really famous, called Beirut City Center. It's been empty for years. It's one of the few buildings that have remained, and it's bullet riddled from the old Civil War in the 1970s, and it's never been repaired since then, and they want to destroy it and build a hotel. But activists have last few years have always stopped it and tried to save this building that many find to be an eyesore, to be ugly, but other people find a cultural heritage and a value in it. And interestingly, now it's being revived once again after all these years to become a space of lectures and organizing for activists. So we're gonna go up there and check it out. Gotta have your protest corn. Every protest has it. So this is usually off limits. This place has been abandoned for decades. But now we get to go up here because it's pretty much lawless and anarchy right now, so people get to take over wherever they want. So this is very 60s bubble building. Don't see make these anymore. It's very retro, very vintage, and you can tell everything is kind of tight and small. And these were all where the chairs used to be for the movie theater. So it's a really fascinating piece of modern architectural heritage that is supposed to be torn down by the company that, again, controls this whole area, which is called Solidaire. It's a big real estate company worth billions of dollars that is owned by the politicians and the big business owners in Lebanon. They didn't really see any value in the old heritage of the city. They just want to turn the city into a millionaire's palace with fancy new things. So people always want to preserve these old things, and it's amazing to see it get a new life. Having an arena, having a theater space. You know, we don't have that in Beirut. It's so important to have places where people can, connect and communicate for free, and not go to some fancy restaurant or some fancy cafe just to sit and talk. Why not have stages, public stages like this? So maybe this revolution or revolt, whatever you want to call it at this point, maybe it'll result in preserving some more of these spaces, and maybe not. Maybe it's the last time that we're here. We don't know. This could be destroyed in a matter of years or months or who knows when. So enjoying the past, holding on to the past while we can. We can see behind us, this church has been sitting there abandoned for the past 30 years or so, probably burned and bombed during the war in the 80s, and it's still there today. And then we can see this brand new fancy building here, part of New Downtown, which is the phone company, which charges the highest phone bills in the world. So this revolt was sparked by a protest against these phone companies that basically have taken people's hard-earned money all these years, and they try to put more taxes on them, and that's what kind of sparked this revolt. So today it's kind of empty here, but for the past several weeks there have been a lot of lectures and sit-ins, so maybe it's just an off time that we got here at. People are just coming here to rest, get on their phones, that kind of thing, so it's a space of rest from the protest. But right now it's not as packed as it usually is. A lot of the graffiti here is very interesting. It's saying that this politician is wanted for justice. So politicians' faces, that's actually Najib Mikati. It seems like he's the richest man in Lebanon. He's worth more than $3 billion. Him and his brother are worth $6 billion. So these people are the ones who really run this country. And he made a lot of his money in the phone business. So we got a lot of billionaires in this country. Now we're gonna go down here next to these protest tents. These are forums for public discussions and talks that are really unprecedented in Lebanon, to have a place that's outside of a university, outside of an organization, just out in the street, really discussing the future of the country. So that's been a really interesting space. We're gonna go check that out real quick.